guys, what's up? It's your author, Alex Dry, and I am back with another entry of the Dry Diaries. I'm so excited because I am talking about something that I've actually wanted to bring on the pod since I've started. We are going to be diving deep into manifestation, affirmations, but also natural healing and remedies that you can do that's helped me personally, frequency healing, and of course, conspiracies around the Egyptian pyramids and how all this ties in together. And it's really crazy because I also just made a discovery as of March 15th that really confirms this conspiracy to actually be a fact. I mean, in my book. Side note, actually, before we dive deep into this, if you are watching, I am on a full natural hair journey right now. I am not putting heat on my hair for 30 days. I don't know if you guys can relate, but the front pieces of my hair just consistently break off. I think it's a combination of color, styling, heat, all the above. So next 30 days until Stagecoach, we are just going full on castor oil, deep conditioning. I'm also trying Divi. It's a little hair serum that you can put on your scalp. It's supposed to help hair growth. I will let you guys know. Clearly my hair has been growing because I have pretty dark roots, which is a plus. I mean, they look bad, but at least I know that my follicles are still processing. That's my whole hair journey that I am on right now. A little life update. I am currently back in Texas. I was in LA for the past month doing work stuff. Had a few sit-down interviews with some friends. I do like to try to do weekly episodes, but when I travel and I get the opportunity to record with someone really cool or interesting, then I will do that and release it a couple weeks later. LA was super fun. I also went to Mammoth for one of my good friend's birthday parties. I've never seen so much snow in my life in Mammoth. That was my first time going. I can snowboard, but I did tear my meniscus, and seeing that amount of snow, it did worry me. So I didn't personally go on the slopes, but I did partake in the festivities. If you guys haven't been to Mammoth, it's really cute and fun. There's a little place once you get off the slopes. It's called Apres. And there was a DJ playing. Everyone was dancing, having drinks as they got off the slopes. And so that was a cool experience. And we went into town. The bars there are really cute, quaint. It was pretty busy, I would say, because we went a random weekend. It's so funny because I don't know how my friend survived. She snowboards all the time. This is just a testament to why I didn't partake in the slopes. She was going down, and because of so much snow and ice, there's actually an avalanche warning 2 days prior to us getting there. So she was going down the slopes and somehow hit a tree and ended up cracking 2 ribs and doing something to the disc in her back. But she kept going throughout the weekend, which props to her. I don't know how she did it. It was her birthday weekend, so I think she toughed it out. It was a fun, wild weekend. That was at the very beginning of my trip. I'm just not a cold weather person. My body does not do well with anything cold. Getting back, I actually did get a little bit sick and was down for about 2 or 3 days. I had that stupid virus that everyone's getting with the cough, sore throat, congestion, and I was just so tired. I think I slept for 48 hours straight and got up to get water, get all my potions, my vitamins. I love to call them my potions, all my natural remedies, brush my teeth, and shower. Then I went right back to bed. So honestly, all my potions worked. It did take 3 or 4 days, but after that and sleeping, I did feel much better. from there, that started my trip in LA. I recorded with friends, did some work, checked on my storage unit, and honestly, what I thought was going to be a week and a half turned into 3 weeks. I just had so much to do and catch up on. It was fun. I got to catch up with all my friends there. I really do miss LA. I love the weather and just driving along the beach. There's something that is not comparable to how therapeutic it is. So I do miss that aspect of it. From LA, I went to Vegas. It was so funny because I met my family in Vegas from LA. And so it was my mom, my dad, my brother's friends, and then I had a friend come and meet me. Also, my grandfather, I think 94 now. He always comes to Vegas with us on his little moped, speeding through the wind. We brought my mom and some of my brother's friends' parents to the Chainsmokers, and my mom was out dancing at Excess until 4 a.m. So it was a fun time. I do love Vegas, but I can only do it for a couple days. It's a bubble, but I also haven't experienced life outside the Wynn, really. I'm not the girl who's going to venture to the Strip, so sorry to tell you. But I would love to experience what real life is like outside of the Vegas nightlife that we know. Where do locals go? What do you do? Because I'm sure it's completely normal. It's just I don't know anything outside of that. I was in Mammoth, then Vegas. I am now back in Texas. I will be here for a couple weeks till I head back to LA and Palm Springs for Stagecoach. I am so freaking excited about Stagecoach, stressing a little bit about my outfits, but excited that they're switching up the lineup this year. Of course, there is a lot of my favorite country artists, but they're also having T-Pain, the Goo Dolls, Backstreet Boys, which I'm sorry, I'm going to be reliving my 2000s era. And we're staying in a house with all of our friends. I'm also going to be filming while I'm there. So that weekend, you guys definitely will have to keep a lookout for the stories. Hopefully, I'll be posting in real-time vlogs. We'll see how many margaritas I have. But I will definitely be keeping you guys updated. It's going to be so much fun. Dalton's coming, my brother, and my cousin, some of my best friends. So, yeah, hence my hair journey. After Palm Springs, I will be heading to Hawaii, which I am going to be the groomswoman for my best friend Cam and Micah's wedding, which I'm really excited to be a part of their big day. I just love them so much. I love Hawaii in general, the people, the vibes. I am a little scared. How am I going to survive Stagecoach weekend flying straight to Hawaii for a full wedding week? But it's going to be good. I'm going to take all my potions, remedies, vitamins, everything I have, and stay healthy after doing Miami Swim Week. And then potentially moving to Austin. I have a space that I am looking at. I know before it was Austin, Nashville, kind of was considering Austin or Miami. I'm going to feel it out when I'm there to see if I like it. But as of now, it's looking like it's going to be Austin. If you guys have any recommendations in Austin or live in Austin or have friends in Austin, definitely connect me because I'm excited. So all that to say, we're going to dive into this week's entry. As I was saying before, just the constant travel and naturally having a pretty weak immune system, I was always getting sick. I would just turn to quick fixes like getting a steroid shot or taking antibiotics. And it wasn't really until this last year that I began my full healing journey. If you're somebody that has struggled with a weak immune system or just having constant health problems and not being able to get to the root of the issue, or maybe just feeling off in some senses, then this episode's definitely for you. I just want to preface, I'm not a doctor. This is something I've experienced on my own healing journey, and I just wanted to share with you because it was honestly a life changer in my everyday life. And so if I get any knowledge, I just want to give it to other people. I hate gatekeepers. When it comes to things like this, I'm definitely an oversharer because I don't think that there should be any reason that we shouldn't share these type of things. When I got sick back in LA, this is something that I constantly get when my immune system's low, reoccurring sinus infections, or if there's a new strand of a virus, I promise you I'm getting it first. I'm always the one that gets it before anybody else. And then I swear a month later, everyone else around me will be down bad with it. My immune system has already built a defense to it. And so I don't get it again. Trust me, if there's something new, I'm going to get it. Whenever I get sick, either a virus or a sinus infection, the things that I personally have been taking instead of turning to antibiotics or steroid shots is, first off, colloidal silver. If you're having sinus issues or you struggle with asthma, this is literally your best friend. I have a portable nebulizer at my house that I've gotten at CVS, Walgreens, wherever it may be. I'll put the silver in it and I'll put it over my nose and mouth and nebulize that in every couple hours whenever I'm sick. I'll dilute it with a little bit of water, but for me, it's mostly the colloidal silver. You can also get colloidal silver in a nose spray, which helps relieve any symptoms of congestion, and it kills a lot of bacteria. You can put it in your ears for any ear aches, and then a topical gel, which I've used on scars, helps heal any scars or wounds that you do have. Colloidal silver, liquid gold. You can use it in so many different ways. I keep it on deck. I will take a few drops every morning, especially if I'm around someone that's been sick, when I'm traveling. It just helps build up your immune system. Along with silver, there is copper, which I recently discovered copper. I didn't even know that it was a thing we had in our bodies. I know that sounds so dumb, but never thought of it that way. It wasn't until I started working with a friend of mine who is in homeopathic healing, and she told me that I was really low in copper, that copper goes hand in hand with iron absorption. Whenever she found this, she asked me, have you ever dealt with anemia or having results of low iron or being really tired? I'm like, I do have narcolepsy, so of course I'm tired all the time. I also am allergic to fish and have struggled with hormone issues. So I thought I was just doomed for low iron my whole life, and didn't matter how many iron pills I took or IVs I got, my iron levels never would really change. And she broke it down for me and said that if you're low in copper, then your body's not going to absorb iron. I started taking copper, and within 2 months, my levels have already gone up. So it just goes to show that they always diagnose us with an issue, but we never get to the deep root of what the issue is and actually heal it. We just kind of fix it and move on. Those viruses or bacteria continue to live in you, and that's where reoccurring sinus infections or strep infections, which I struggled with. I ended up getting my tonsils out 10 years ago. They said whenever they took my tonsils out that they were literally disgusting because of how much infection lived in them. The amount of times that I got sinus infections or strep when I was little, and how much better I've felt since getting them out, is insane. So all that to be said, definitely that methylene blue. You guys can look it up. There's a ton of different healing properties. It is known to help heal cancer in some ways. I also recently realized in the last year, which people are like, that doesn't exist in the United States. Absolutely, I think it actually does more so here than in a place like Italy. A lot of health issues actually stem from parasites. And because our food sucks right now, hoping, RFK is coming through. And so I can't wait for that. But the result of all this processed and fake food that we have right now, and it's not being grown properly, there are a lot of parasites and bacteria that are living in our food. And once we ingest that, it gets in our body. Outside of the United States, they do parasite cleanses twice a year. It's a standard protocol here in the United States. If you go to a doctor and ask for them to test for parasites, they are very unlikely to do, or they brush it under the rug. For myself, I was experiencing bloating, gut issues, and I've always struggled with skin issues. And this is something that I've talked about on my previous entries is biocidin, but I'm such a believer in this because of how much it helped me. It is a liquid that you take in intervals, but it helps get rid of the bad microbiome in your stomach. So if you struggle with bloating or candida buildup, maybe you have yeast infections, UTIs, parasites, food poisoning, then biocidin is a game changer. And it cleanses out all of the bad bacteria. And also when I started taking it, I did drop, I would say maybe 4 pounds. And I think it's just all of the buildup and stuff that was in my body that needed to come out. I was pretty good about doing the infrared sauna, red light therapy, and eating really healthy throughout this process. It kind of goes hand in hand, but I definitely would recommend that. And if you don't want to do biocidin, totally fine. There are natural things that you can eat or drink that help eradicate parasites. Pineapple juice is a huge one. They did a study, they dropped pineapple juice on a little slide of parasites. Parasites died immediately. So pineapple juice is really good. Oregano oil is really good. Turmeric, ginger. If you eat a small clove of garlic in the morning, it's disgusting, but it's really good for parasites. Wormwood is also really good. For me, what I've been doing every day is just making a little cup of pineapple juice, oregano oil, turmeric, ginger, and I'll just take it as almost like a little shot. It's not an Erewhon smoothie, but it's not anything horrible. And if you just hold your nose and take it back, then you'll be fine. That's what I do every morning. You just want to make sure whenever you're doing this that at least weekly you're taking a charcoal and zeolite pill. There's really good ones from Biocide, and it's called GI Detox, and I'll take it once a week or once every other week. And that's just because whenever you're doing parasite cleanses, if the parasites do die, they can excrete a toxin, which either releases more eggs of the parasite or just something that's not good for you. Basically, what the charcoal does is it binds up all the parasite puts out, and then it lets your body get rid of it, if you know what I mean. All those things I am full believer in. I do also take trace minerals and ketone shots. You can look them up. They're really good for you. It's natural salt water in your body, the electrolytes that it needs. My favorite thing to do that I've also incorporated in my morning routine is frequency. Now, when I explain this, you guys will probably think I'm crazy, but there is science behind it, and it goes hand in hand with my conspiracy theory, which honestly is kind of cool. I was like, wow, I'm onto something. My detective work is progressing. Getting into frequency healing, whenever I've been sick, there's different hertz that you can put on, which will help with different things you're experiencing. It's not just some woo-woo thing. So actually the science behind this goes all the way back to Einstein and Nikola Tesla. One of his things he said is everything is energy. And it is true. Everything is energy, and it goes back to even what doctors use today. They'll use the electrocardiograms to measure the heart's energy. They'll use EEGs to track your brain waves. They use the electric cuff to measure your blood pressure. Again, all goes back to energy, EMFs, and even ourselves in general, what we're made up of. So we're made up of 50 trillion cells. Cells are molecules, molecules are atoms, and atoms are 99.9% energy. They're constantly vibrating, and those vibrations are equal to frequency. It's so crazy because I watched a Joe Rogan episode and they were talking about frequency and hertz, and they actually held up different hertz to running water. And you can see the clear change of how the water moves when they're putting these different hertz to the water. Going back to Nikola Tesla, one of my faves, I think he's very underrated. He deserves a lot more appreciation than he got. But he once said, if you find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Also, side note, I thought Nikola Tesla had something to do with Tesla cars. No association at all. I think he was more profound than whoever invented Tesla, not to knock it. But if you go and do research of the studies that Nikola Tesla did and what he came up with, it really is pretty crazy, and did talk a lot about the speed of light and how some of the pyramids may have been built off of frequency. A lot of people shut him out or didn't really listen to him, but as more studies come out, more things he came up with are being found and known to be true. This goes way before Nikola Tesla. He was definitely onto something, because there is a lot of ancient cultures that actually used frequency healing as well. Pythagoras used music to treat mental disorders, and he called it musical medicine. In Indian traditions, they use chanting, singing, bowls, and bells. In indigenous cultures, they use drums to enter into their healing state. And the conspiracy around it all is the Egyptians built healing temples based on or with sound and frequency. The Great Pyramid of Giza emits its own tone. And if you type the speed of light, which is 299792458, into Google Earth, it will drop a pin right at the Great Pyramid. Obviously, back then, they didn't have compasses that were sufficiently giving them the correct coordinates, but somehow the Great Pyramid is perfectly built and aligned on the cross border of the equator. Tesla came up with a isolator device. And if you compare the isolator device to the Egyptian Ankh, I hope I'm saying that right, the devices are uncannily similar in the shape and the way that they look. They discovered 3 artifacts within the Great Pyramid: ceramics, copper, and iron. These 3 things together can conduct electricity, which is crazy because it does kind of go back to the theory that people have been saying of, was the pyramid built with the help of frequency and some sort of electricity that we didn't know about. On March 15th, so recently, research discovered massive underground structures beneath the pyramid, including geometric passageways and deep wells that may link to cube-shaped chambers. It makes you wonder, were these structures built based on frequency, or the fact that there is water or wells of some sort underneath? Did this go hand in hand with the frequency that it emits? There's just so many questions now, and it's giving more evidence behind the fact they may have been far beyond where we're even at now, which is so crazy. Bringing it back to modern times, at the University of Michigan, researchers developed something called histotripsy, a non-invasive ultrasound treatment that breaks apart tumors using sound waves. It not only destroys cancer cells, but triggers the immune system to fight them off systematically. Even treating just 50 to 75% of liver tumors led to full remission. Over 80% had zero recurrence. This is all through vibrational sound healing. Obviously, that study's on rats, but it just goes to show that a lot of the things that we actually put into our body, food, medicine, studies are done on rats. So what's the difference of doing it and trying it in frequency healing? Most of them were healed. They have done a lot of studies on humans since, and you guys should look it up. You can look it up on TikTok, YouTube, wherever, and you can see where they've done a study over time and actually have looked at the cells as it's being played, and they can see it changing as the frequency is playing. So these are some of my favorite frequencies that I use. Like I said, I listen to frequency every morning. I personally will either put on 528 or 1111, and those are my favorites. So 175 hertz is pain relief. 285 hertz is tissue regeneration. 396 hertz is guilt and fear release. 417 hertz clears negativity. 528 hertz is love and DNA repair. 639 hertz is heart healing. 741 hertz is detox. And 880 hertz is lung healing. A lot of the time when I am sick, I will play 741 hertz at night as I'm sleeping. And honestly, this last time I healed completely. No antibiotics, no shots, nothing. Just purely my potions, my vitamins, and some frequency healing. My thoughts on it is all this stuff can't hurt you. It can only help you. And if it goes back so long ago when they were using herbs and all these different things to heal, why are we not using that today? If I can avoid medicine at all costs, I will. Obviously, there's some exceptions where people do need medicine. I haven't found the cure to my narcolepsy yet, but we are working on that. It doesn't hurt to try, and I just wanted to share that with you guys because all of this information is something that I've learned along my journey this past year. I love a PEMF mat. It helps the blood circulation within your body and grounding. Red light therapy, infrared sauna, all these different things are really good. I am excited because I am going to be bringing on a Chinese medicine and acupuncturist who has grown up around this, who has studied this medicine for a really long time, and she's going to break everything down and share with you guys. I am always for self-growth and just trying to learn and grow any way I can. Some of my friends have done ayahuasca retreats, which is super interesting. I've kind of been on the fence about trying it. I'm not a girl that does drugs, but I don't even know if ayahuasca would be considered a drug, but I'm a hypochondriac, so I'm always scared how my body's going to react. And even the time that I did try weed, I tripped out. I'm kind of nervous of how I would respond to ayahuasca, but the people that have done the retreats and even the documentaries that I've watched have had such healing experiences doing them. So it makes me really want to try it. That's a thought for another day. ADD, just everything as far as healing, growth, and what I've experienced this past year has made such a difference in my life and even who I am today and how I've changed and bettered myself. My affirmation and manifestation journey, I would say that I have been doing it now for a little over a year, and it started whenever I went to a retreat. One of the first things that they had us do was write down all the attributes and the description of who our higher self would be. Higher self being, who have you always dreamed of being? If you could have anything in the world, what would it be? And really list out all of those attributes. It's really funny because they encouraged us, if you want to name your higher self an alter ego, you can. So I've always loved the name Naomi. So I named her Naomi and list out everything as far as how she would talk, how does she act, how does she dress, where would she live, what's her job, just everything that you could possibly dream of, that the best version you could be if you could have anything in the world. After that, we did a meditation. I know that whenever we did the meditation, though, I could not see myself. I had a mental block. Everything was black, and I got really discouraged because it just wasn't happening for me. Me being a Sagittarius, I'm pretty independent and decisive. Whenever they asked us to do this and then meditate on it, it was frustrating because you think that you know what you want in your dream life, but until it's really put in front of you and you list it all out, it gets difficult. Or at least for me, it did. I'm a very goal-oriented person, so I pride myself. If I'm going to say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So having this experience was humbling because it really expanded my mindset to not think a year from now, 2 years from now. It's, if you could have everything right now, what would it be? And what would your life look like? Doing that exercise was so beneficial, so I really encourage it. Once we did that, we wrote out the 25 goals, narrowed it down to top 4 that we're prioritizing the most. And from there, wrote out specific details of what that goal looks like, entails, and how we can take actions to make that goal come to fruition. We did that, and then we created a vision board. After making the vision board last year, I took it around with me everywhere I went. Looking back, it's so crazy to see because in my mind, I just wanted to travel, make a certain amount of money, and achieve these certain goals. Everywhere I put on my vision board, I traveled to, which was totally by coincidence, but also it's just the power of manifestation. Of course, the only thing that didn't come to fruition was a husband, not even a boyfriend. Honestly, not even a contender. So that's the only thing that didn't come from my vision board, which is fine because I do trust that God has the right person for me at the right timing. You just have to trust the process and know that we have to have patience whenever we are trying to manifest and attract things that we want. We clipped all of our photos out of a magazine, but for this 2025 year, whenever I was repeating the same exercises that we did before, my vision board, I actually did through Pinterest and Canva. So I created a Pinterest board that had a lot of the photos, goals, and things that I wanted for 2025. And then from there, I created a folder in Canva, and that's where I created my vision board. Honestly, this is a good reminder because I need to print it out and just carry it around with me. Maybe I'm superstitious now because of last year and taking it with me and everything that came true. It was really cool. Once we did the vision boards, then we just practiced gratitude. And there's a 5-minute journal that you can get. It's a journal that literally takes 5 minutes a day. And you just write down what you're thankful for. I think there's so much power in giving back because what you put out into the universe, you receive, and the power of prayer is huge. I do think there's such strong power in speaking things. I'm an introvert extrovert, so I can get in my head and overthink a lot. And there's a lot of things where I'll be like, oh, I want to achieve this. This is my goal. I want to do this. But there's just something about putting pen to paper and then verbalizing it out loud, whether you're saying it to yourself, your friends. I personally, my routine is I wake up, I turn on frequency healing music. I will write down or journal for 5 minutes, very short. Sometimes I use my notes app because I can take it with me. I repeat the same 5 mantras every day. All of them start with I am. If you guys are saying these things and I don't really believe it, I encourage you to keep repeating them to yourself every day, because the more you say it and step into it, the more you're going to start believing it. And everyone's human. For me to sit here and say every morning, I repeat, I am confident, I am strong, I am healthy. Yes, I am a very confident person, but at the end of the day, we all have insecurities. We all have self-doubt. Repeating it out loud every day, you're going to start to believe it more, and you're going to start putting it out into the universe and putting out the energy, putting out the positivity so it can be reciprocated back to you. I know that in previous entry, I told you guys to watch Paradise. If you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. It aligns with a lot of my conspiracy theories. Let's just say that. The last one I will recommend is Long Bright River. Amanda is in it. I don't know her last name. She was in Mean Girls, but she's a very good actress. Love her. Amanda Seinfeld, I think. I could be wrong. Amanda Seyfried, I think. She's in it. It's really good. Trigger warning: if you have experienced or dealt with past trauma from people with drug addiction, I would just say caution lightly when watching it. But it is a really good TV show, a really good message. I really liked it. Those are the shows I've been watching, along with my trash reality, which I've been trying to watch less of because it's just a waste of time. But it's good background noise for when you're working. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I do have to say, if you guys are watching it, I am more on Dorit's side than Sutton's side. The reunion is this week, so we will see. I do love Erica. It is amazing to see her on this season because, I'm sorry, talk about self-growth. She was put through the trenches and she has come out thriving. You can really tell that she's put a lot of work into herself, healing and growth, especially what she went through in front of everyone and all the lashbacks she's gotten. That's a lot of healing. So I think she deserves a lot of acknowledgement because that is a lot to experience. Okay, guys, I hope you feel a little bit more aligned, empowered, and grounded. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. Also, don't forget to submit all your questions to www.thedrydiaries.com for Dear Dry Diaries segment. Remember, all your questions are anonymous, and so you will not be exposed. You can ask anything that you want. Next week, I am bringing on Caleb Beamster. He is going to be sharing all of his experiences with dating, story times, life after his career in basketball, and how he's continued that on as an NBA host. Side note, he's a virgin, so can't wait to get his take on that. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye.